Hello and good evening, or morning, or afternoon, or whatever time you're listening to this. Whatever, you're doing you. What's going on? What's happening? How's work? Okay. Okay. Could be worse. Could be me. My car's broken down. You'll hear about that in the show. But if you have a car you want to sell, Birdie, holla at your boy. Also, I can't believe I just said holla at your boy. So today's show is really just all about the wild card weekend. And there's a little bit of baseball and shit, but whatever. Let's get to the show. Episode of Stone Sports. I am your host, Bert. With me, as always, I have my co-host, Double. Say what up, Dubs. Got it right this week. And my other co-host, Meech. Say what up, Meech.
What up? I could never have like a greeting for every episode. I can't get my shit together anyway, let alone if I do like, oh shit, it's this day today.
I panicked as soon as Birdie started saying, well, he was fucking started talking. I was like, oh,
what day is it?
Shit. Oh shit.
Is this a week? He's
gotten short on the last few intros. He just said Bert.
I know. Normally gives me more time to think. Names.
Yeah. I've actually kind of run out of nicknames. So if anybody thinks of a nickname, like just shoot it at us on Twitter and shit.
Squirtleby.
I thought about that, and then I was like, that sounds so fucked up and weird. That was like one of the first ones I thought of, actually. Anyway, how was the week, boys? Or weekend, I guess.
Meech, you want to start? Yours was eventful.
Yeah, I mean, I had to move a relative, so out of the gloriousness that was football, I watched like 20 minutes of the Bills game after I started watching a Rams-Seahawks game, but they put a replay on. Why was there a replay on Wild Card Weekend?
No idea.
Anyway, so I was watching a Rams-Seahawks game from, their first matchup probably or something. I don't know. And then realized that the Bills game is on. I was like, oh, I'd rather watch this. And I didn't even realize I had fucked up that bad until halfway through the day when someone that was helping us was like, oh, no, the Rams game is still on at, 1. And I was like, no, it happened already. And I, totally screwed the pooch on that. I wasted valuable viewing time on a replay.
Yeah, that's
tough.
That's tough. I don't know what else.
I mean, other than that, it's a good weekend.
If it makes you feel any better, I haven't had the best week either, man. My car is donezo. It is fiend. Yeah.
Isn't that the fucking worst, dude?
It is the worst, dude, because I don't know, it's just like so many people are like, well, you could buy this car. And I'm like, yeah, but you've had that car sitting in your driveway for 2 years and you haven't turned it on once. I'm not buying that fucking car. So I'm going to have to go finance a car. I fucking hate whatever. Anyway,
I did that shit last year.
And then I just cut the living shit out of my finger cooking dinner before we decided to podcast. I mean, I might need stitches. I'm really not sure yet. It's bleeding right now. So if I pass out in the middle of this podcast, call an ambulance.
You just hear fucking...
Man down.
Birdie?
No.
Birdie?
In that classic British tradition, we shall soldier on. What about you, Dubs? How's the weekend,
And they shall weather on through the storm.
Been good. Not too bad. Been pretty busy. Hung out with some friends Friday night. Little small get together. COVID and everything. But pretty much just I worked Saturday and didn't get to see much of the Bills game, and today's been pretty lazy besides going out to run a couple errands.
Dope. Yeah, well, for those listening, there's really not too much sports to talk about today, so there's going to be a little bit of nonsense on the show. But let's talk about some sports now that I've prefaced it that way. How about our Mets take from the last episode, which has an aged well?
Poorly. It did not age like fine wine. It aged more like a little Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh, nice. That's a good one, dude. Yeah, it was so funny because I woke up and I saw the news and I was like, obviously like hype. But I was like, should I text the guys? And then I was like, no, I'm not going to do it because they're just going to find a way to make me feel bad about it. So
Well, it's funny because me and him were awake and we had already started texting each other, and I was just waiting for your appearance in the chat.
Yeah, we were both just kind of waiting on you to come in so we could check on your confidence and
wait,
find
how?
something to pick it apart.
Yeah, well, all right, let's pick it apart then. Come on, because to me, it is a stellar deal. I mean, they gave up like nothing. They gave up literally like next to nothing.
I'll give you that. It was a good deal.
We talked about it a little bit in the chat, and I said, well, yeah, they gave him nothing, but the key is getting that extension signed. Does he really want to be a free agent, or will he re-sign with the Mets? Because I know that even though we gave up nothing for Mookie in the offseason, I was like relieved when he signed that massive extension.
I bet you were.
Right.
To ensure that he's going to be a Dodger forever.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
but,
I mean, I agree.
Which I'm sure Double is also pretty happy about. But but yeah, so like, yes, you made the deal. Now it's time to spend the money. Now it's time to not worry about the tax that your organization has forever done. So if you could get him re-signed, I would start looking at this more seriously. It's still a huge deal. It's still a massive deal. But you guys have now apparently jolted into the universe of all the big teams. I feel like the Dodgers, the Yankees, Red Sox, all these get, well, not Red Sox lately, but all these guys get talked about. They get mentioned with every free agent, every big move, everything like that. And so I heard the Mets had started rumors on Chris Bryant. And I was just like, wow, they get an owner with money, and all of a sudden they're with the big boys.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's kind of my thing is, like, you mentioned, like, does he want to stay a free agent? I think that, like, is he going to sign from his perspective? I bet that's kind of a, like, wait and see what they do. Because if they keep making big moves and they push to be, quote-unquote contender, you probably see him, sign the contract. But it just depends on what they're going to do. I'm confident, actually, that they're going to keep making moves. I've heard some, podcasts that I listen to related to the Mets talking about how, all those rumors they pushed out may have just been to force other people to kind of like, bite the hook, if you will. It's like baiting the hook. But, we'll see. Like we said last week, we'll see.
I didn't like that tangent. You just threw in like 3 or 4 fucking jabs at me and my Red Sox.
Well, because usually you guys are amongst the big boys, but it's on the streets.
We fucking are.
It's pretty evident that you guys are shedding payroll like a fucking dog sheds their winter coat. So
we're
in the summer.
making adjustments. It's not a rebuild. It's adjustments.
That is the sound of mental gymnastics.
We still have a great lineup. Sale's gonna come back mid-season from Tommy John. Eduardo Rodriguez didn't play last year because of the heart issue related to COVID. And Evaldi's a fucking stud. We just need to
Evaldi's not worth the money that you guys overpaid on him. And how many times have I heard that since you guys traded Mookie? But yeah, no, Sale coming back will be a huge thing for you guys. And Eduardo Rodriguez is not a slouch.
No, he's really fucking good. The thing with him is when Cora was the manager, he would just let him go too long. Like he'd be at 110 pitches through 7, and you're like, all right, he's done. And then he'd come back out in the 8th, and you're like, what are we doing? What are we doing here?
The only other thing I could think of in baseball going into the weekend, which also made it kind of a drag, Tommy Lasorda, Dodger Hall of Famer, passed away.
Yeah, R.I.P.
He just gotten out of the hospital, and I thought he was going to be good. And then, my mom actually texted me before any of the insiders. So, like, before it was on Twitter, my mom hit me up. And then as soon as I went to Twitter, I saw everyone posting, and I was like, damn, that LA news breaks fast down there, huh?
Yeah, it's fucking sad, man.
MLB loses a true treasure, huge ambassador for the game, and I gotta feel bad for Vin Scully. He lost his wife and Tommy Lasorda within 2 weeks, and it's just you feel bad for the guy.
That's terrible. That's so sad. Resting in peace to the legend.
Yeah, Tommy Lasorda, huge presence, and it's a huge loss, but hopefully he's better now. and at least he got to see the champs win.
Yeah, that's kind of amazing. I think it might have been in the Rams game. They were talking about how, like the last game was a World Series win. So that's pretty awesome.
Well, yeah, and then in the game before that, he told Dave Roberts, it's not over. Win tomorrow and then it'll be over. So it's just, they showed that clip. That clip was everywhere, and you just got emotional.
It's gonna make me cry, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
that's really tough.
Sad news for the Dodger Nation, and really all of baseball. Like I said,
yeah,
he won a gold
sports
in
general.
Yeah, and he was a great ambassador for a game that is in trouble.
Yeah, moment of silence. Okay, so thanks. So one thing I wanted to talk about before we move to the recaps here was I don't know if you guys heard about the Columbus Blue Jackets in the NHL. They've like suspended like 15 players.
Really?
Yeah, literally. It's like it might even be like 19. Oh, it's like a bunch of players and some coaching staff. It might be like 19 people. It's like 15 or 19, and I don't think all of them have COVID. A lot of people are speculating because it's the NHL and you never know fucking anything. But people are speculating that it's like over precaution, you know what I mean? Or like hyper precaution, whatever the fuck you want to call it, And yeah, that's
you said suspended. I thought they all got in fucking trouble.
No, man. But like that's
how did I not hear about that?
But regardless, that's a
still there, right?
That's a shitload of people to be.
Torts is still there.
Torts is still there, right?
Of course,
I was gonna
Torts
say,
is my fucking guy, dude.
Yeah, he's the man.
He is one of the greatest coaches in hockey history. Not record-wise, but as a human.
I love Torts.
He's great. I respect him, but I feel like my teams always play him in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean,
I was gonna say he must be livid when you said suspended. But takes a little air out of this. Like he's always not shy on words.
No, he is not, and that's what I love about him. Like he's not a great coach as far as record goes, but as far as like personality, like that guy fucking rules. But I'm just saying,
gusto.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying, like 15 people is a lot of people to be short. When you have to play in
puck drops tonight,
4
right?
days. No, it's on Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, still, like that's a lot of. It's already actually affecting a shitload of teams because on the Rangers, Mika Zibanejad missed the first week of practice because of COVID. His first skate was today. So
yeah, but it will get ironed out within the next couple of weeks. I think as they start taking it seriously. I mean, we saw this with the NBA too. It was such a short off season that when they jumped into it, they had a couple guys testing positive.
And now even they've had a spike the last week. I mean, they've had 2 games canceled today.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of the business you do outside of the bubble. Like it's such a fine line because that these guys have to be playing it safe, but it's just so hard to not catch it. It's so transmittable, and it doesn't always show signs. So like we've seen every league have problems with it, and especially playing outside of the bubble. Just like we saw with baseball. They're going to have some problems.
Yeah, for sure. It's just, to me, like the interesting thing is like normally hockey is a longer season, but this one's only 56 games. So if you miss a player for like a week, everybody's playing a shitload of games in 1 week. You're playing like 6-7 games in 1 week. So if you miss a player for like 6 games, like if the Rangers missed Artemi Panarin for 6 games and they lost every one of those games, I mean, they're done. Like you're not crawling back from that, So like, it's just going to be really interesting, I guess. Unfortunate how it's going to affect some teams. Let's get to let's talk about some football. You want to talk about some football, boys?
Football.
All right, let's talk about some football. So, Colts-Bills game was dope.
Didn't see it, unfortunately.
It was dope. It was very close. It was dope.
Birdie carried the ladder on this one. That's what got the Bills the dub.
It really was just Diggs and Allen. I mean the story of every Bills game, right?
Yeah.
It's the story of every Bills game. They just are like fucking in sync. I would make a Star Trek reference about the binars, but you guys wouldn't get it, so I won't do that.
Jesus Christ.
Oh God.
Yeah, they were just in sync.
Fucking nerd.
But the Colts did put up a hell of a fight, man. They really, really did. But it's just, towards the end of the game, Rivers couldn't get it done. And we've seen that before. So,
To build off that, where do we think Rivers will be next year?
Maybe retired?
Yeah, high school sideline because he's retiring.
Yeah, I think I could see him playing another year, but I think it's his best bet to retire.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't as close of a game as it was, because it was a close game. This is the one I watched pretty much the most. I watched a couple other ones this weekend, but like I said, I was super busy. But yeah, the Colts Bills game was really competitive, and usually I would shit all over Philly Riv, but he actually looked good, and even in the weather, it was outdoors and cold, so I was kind of shocked to see that he played really well, but he did.
Phillip Rivers, 27 for 46, 309 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor added 78 yards, but it wasn't enough to keep up with what he has been doing lately. And on the other side, like you touched on, Bernie, Allen and Diggs were electric, 26 for 35, 324, 2 touchdowns for Allen. He also ran one in, and Diggs had 128 yards on 6 catches.
Yeah, Diggs continues to pay off that trade that they made. He has really opened up things for this offense, and I think is part of the reason Allen's doing so well this year.
Yeah, we saw Diggs complaining for touches and everything in Minnesota, and he's proved it to be a valid complaint this season because he was first in receptions, first in yards, and he's definitely helped Josh Allen take a step up and the Bills offense be one of the best in the league.
Yeah. I mean, and there were a couple casualties from that Minnesota switch in offense. I mean, Kevin Rudolph used to be like a top 10 tight end fantasy-wise. They moved him to basically a blocker the last few years.
That's a solid call. I forgot he even existed.
Yeah, like he used to be one of the top tight ends, honestly. They transitioned to that new offense, and all of a sudden, he's basically a blocking tight end, getting 2, 5-yard receptions a game, when this man used to put up, 7 to 10 points pretty consistently in fantasy, honestly. And Diggs saw a drop off, but like I said, like we both said, I mean, he has made such a huge difference for this team, and he has made Cole Beasley better, because Cole Beasley is actually a pretty good receiver as well, but he's just a different kind of receiver. He's made him better, though, because teams can't focus on only him or the tight end in Buffalo anymore. They have to dedicate to stopping Diggs, and even then, we've seen it all year long. It kind of just doesn't matter.
Yeah. Beasley was just under 1,000 yards this season, too, so that shows how much production he had as well.
Yeah, he's had a good couple years, but I just feel like their offense has been really good since they got Diggs. That was a trade that worked well for both teams.
Yeah, he bet on himself, and the bet paid off. Did you guys watch the Rams-Seahawks game at all?
So I missed the first quarter and the Walford shit, and I saw most of the rest.
Okay, I mean, it was, that Rams defense that won that game. Like,
100%.
Wholeheartedly won that game.
Shut down Wilson. They shut down the run game. Their defense was phenomenal. Donald
Did you see Metcalf losing it?
Yeah, he was pissed.
He was losing
he was
it.
Pissed. I saw it on Twitter. It made me laugh.
I mean,
but what? Yeah. So what happened with Walford? Because I missed that hit, Bernie.
So he was running the ball, and he kind of dove to get either the first down or just to get a couple more yards, and someone went to tackle him, and it was like straight head-to-head collision.
It wasn't, though.
It didn't look that bad. That's what I was about to say. It didn't look that bad.
No.
But
once you slowed it down, you clearly saw that it was shoulder to head.
It was straight up helmet to helmet. Like,
it was literally not, because I watched it like 5 times this morning.
Okay, regardless, I understand them being precautious about it. Like,
I mean, anytime you're dealing with a spinal cord injury, you have to be precautious. Adams took a ton of flack for a dirty hit. I honestly didn't think it was that bad. If you want to be protected in the NFL, and we've seen it week in and week out, slide. Learn how to slide. If you're a quarterback and you do not know how to slide in this league, where you are given every benefit of protection,
Yeah, watching it right now, I'm with you.
I don't feel bad for you, and
No,
you can
it's-
clearly see
tried
it's
to
a
lead
shoulder
with the
hit.
shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
And-
absolutely. I'm not saying it was intentional. I'm just saying like there was definitely contact. Like, I'm not saying it was intentional.
Oh, I mean there
at
was, but
all.
he wasn't down. He wasn't sliding.
Yeah.
It looked like he was
dove
protecting,
forward.
like bracing for impact. It didn't
Yeah.
look like he was sliding.
No, not at all. I
And-
don't think it's a dirty hit at all. I want to make that clear. Like I'm with you
at the
100%.
time though, Adams caught a lot of flack for it, and I watched like the last half of that game, so I didn't see that hit live. But I mean, you are afforded every benefit of the doubt. I mean, we talk about bad, roughing the passer penalties every week, it seems like, in the NFL. If you are a quarterback, learn how to slide. Go play baseball, go play Little League, learn how to slide, because there is no excuse for you getting blown up.
Yeah,
Exactly.
no, not at all. I mean, it's a contact sport. Like, accidents are going to happen. I don't think it was intentional at all.
To add your point there, Meech, and every single year, it seems like more things are added to protect the quarterback even more.
I mean, that's the one point of emphasis the NFL has really laid down. They don't want to see backup quarterbacks. Starting
Nope.
quarterbacks get paid the most money. They're the most important part of the team. And when
They
they're
bring
not
in
on the
the
field,
fans.
ratings dip.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. I mean, it's like probably the most protected position in all of sports that I can think of. But
100%.
yeah, I mean, like you were saying, Dubs, like they just shut down the Seahawks. Like it was pretty ridiculous, to be honest with you.
Aaron Donald's just a fucking beast. We
Yeah.
talk about it every show, but
He went
every
out of the
time I
game
watch
too.
it,
He went out
he
of the
did,
game too.
but he still had 2 sacks.
Yeah.
Well, he had sacks, and the sad thing was and that was part of the game that I was watching, when he went out of the game, the Seahawks still couldn't capitalize. And, this defense is just disgusting. And I don't know why I keep overlooking them. They're like the number 1 rated defense in the league.
Yeah.
But I keep overlooking them. I chose the Seahawks last week, and I just thought that they would look so much better. This defense is just disgusting. And like I said, even when Donald went out, it didn't seem to matter. Russ was still running from his life. I thought I had a Texans game on because Russ was just running for his life like Deshaun Watson was the whole goddamn year.
Number 1 against the pass and number 2 against the run. Rams defense has been top 5 basically all season.
Yeah, they're ridiculous.
Can't imagine why. You have a lockdown corner and the best player on in the defense in the league.
And tons of good, solid starters. on
And
the-
tons of surrounding talent.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, Meech, you mentioned Watson. Have you seen all the rumors floating about in the rumor sphere the past week?
I have, and let me tell you, I have a new number 1 QB target this offseason.
You're not
That
looking.
just
You're
updated.
not getting
I
him.
know.
Where do you think he's gonna go? Like, because people are saying
Nowhere.
the Jets, and I'm like, no. Yeah, I
Nowhere.
agree with you. That's the most likely scenario.
He's not
But-
going anywhere. If you trade this man, and keep in mind, Billy O'Bean isn't there anymore. He will not get traded for a water cooler and a bucket of sunflower seeds, as we used to say back in the day. He is going to command huge acquisition of picks and existing talent, and even then, you really have to question it. He's one of the top 5 QBs in the league, and we've all seen if you don't have a quarterback, your team is nowhere. I mean, nowhere.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you, actually.
I saw a rumor today that the Texans might do a deal surrounding Watson for Tua. If that's
saw
on the
that too.
table and I'm the Dolphins, there's no way I don't do that. You have a great defense. You have picks this season. You have not many pieces on offense. I'll give them that.
But their receiving core is not horrible. Like, honestly,
It's not
you could
horrible.
say they
but
don't
it's
have
not
pieces,
great. If they
but
get
they have some pieces there.
they need a true number 1. Let me rephrase it that way.
So, did you watch the Bucks and the WFC game? Because
That I did watch. The fucking Heineken had a coming out party, despite the loss.
Yeah, dude. I was actually talking to Sked about it earlier. We were watching Street Sharks. Remember Street Sharks, Meech?
No.
You don't remember Street Sharks is like Ninja Turtles but with sharks? Wow.
No.
Anyway,
That
we're-
sounds
I
like
remember-
some fucking snakes on a fucking.
I
plane
remember
shit.
Beetleborgs, which
Hell
no
yeah,
one else remembers from my
Beetleborgs.
childhood.
I remember
seems like.
Beetleborgs. Come on. Beetleborgs.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, knockoff Power Rangers. Street Sharks was like knockoff Ninja Turtles. Anyway, we were watching
Okay.
Street Sharks.
Dollar
and,
store Ninja Turtles.
And Ed, who is a Bucks fan, my roommate for those listening, who
Yeah.
one day is gonna be on the show. was talking, and we were talking about, they're playing the Saints coming up, and he's kind of scared about the game. And I was like, dude, they did what they did against the WFC. I almost said it, double. And WFC's defense is no joke. Their defense is no joke. And he was like, yeah, but their offense is terrible. And I was like, dude, that kid looked good, man. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. He came out, like, the first pass he threw was pretty bad. I'll give you that. But, like, he came out, he looked good, man. Heineke looked gnarly.
He looked good. I don't know how, like, Beach, we've talked about it a bunch of times. Once you get film on somebody, the game changes. I don't know if he's going to be, like, people are talking like he's going to be the definite starter next year. I doubt that happens.
Yeah, it depends on what happens, like, in the preseason, I guess, to see if he makes the adjustment. I'm with you.
Well, it just depends. There's so many quarterbacks available.
Exactly. True.
And that's true. And one of those being his ex-quarterback, you wonder if they will bring in Cam Newton. He was also high on Kyle Allen going into the year. He might be back from injury. They have a lot of moving parts in this. And so we'll see. But yeah, once you get tape on someone, it's a lot harder to defend. I know that they said they plan on switching them out, but you've got to think that they prepared for Alex Smith.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, my thing is, like, yeah, he may not get the starter job, but, like, I think he'll get a job somewhere because he looked good. I
think he'll be a backup somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I think he'll be a backup.
He won't be out of the NFL for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, did y'all see? By the way, your roommate has reason to worry about that upcoming.
That's
matchup.
what I said to him.
Yeah,
that's what I said to him.
No. Tom Brady fell off a cliff, right? Oh no, he threw for almost 400 fucking yards.
He's the best fucking GOAT. Greatest.
Yeah, like it's kind of crazy how much talent they had, and you knew. I mean, I think everyone knew when you surround this man with talent, it's limitless.
Yeah,
Godwin, Antonio Brown, and Mike Evans are probably 3 of the top 20 receivers in the league, somewhere in that area. But
maybe not 3. I mean, yeah, Godwin and Evans, I were drafted, for fantasy reasons in the top 20. I think I don't know if I'd put Brown there, although he has looked good. I still don't know if I'd put him up there already.
That's fair.
And Fournette looked good too, and
Fournette did look great.
He's not been, like, kind of shining in this season for the Bucs, but he looked really good this game.
And the Redskins, fuck. Football Club's defense they've been good all season, but they got exposed by Brady, and even the run game, like you said, Fournette was good. And Brady has beaten 17 different teams in the playoffs, more than any quarterback has playoff wins.
Tom Brady, number 1 best GOAT.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask this. How far do you guys think Tampa can go? They have a number 1 run defense. Their offense is clicking. What do you think?
Yeah, we'll see. The true test will be against the Saints. They have been owned twice. We'll see if they can dial up the same protections that they did for Brady in this game. We all were worried about the Washington pass rush in this game. They ended up not really even being a factor. Brady looked super comfortable back there most of the game.
Chase Young wanted Tom Brady.
Yeah.
One tackle.
And like Arian said, be careful what you wish for, because you're all of a sudden looking at the greatest quarterback who's ever existed, which I thought was funny because all day on Twitter, you had all these sports writers saying, like I know Breer said, I went up the stairs and my knee hurt, or Daniel Jeremiah said, I worked out on a workout bike and I'm pretty sure I tore something in my knee. Like, it's kind of amazing what he's doing at the age he's doing it. And everyone every year, there's always those hot takers saying he's going to fall off a cliff. This guy's like LeBron in the fact that he pours an investment into his body. It's kind of crazy. Like LeBron's
Except I love one and hate one, but yeah.
I mean, you love one and hate one, but you know that LeBron is great.
That's fair.
I mean, he's this generation's greatest player. It's kind of hard to beat Michael in basketball for so many reasons, but he's so versatile. He's so great. But I mean, Brady, this guy's 40. And even look at LeBron. I mean, both of their ages are both high. And then you look at the playoff games that both of them have played. I mean, Brady now has like a season at least of playoff games.
He's 17 wins against different teams, let alone like
total games. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it speaks to well, first of all, you have to be great. But secondly, if you emphasize taking care of your body, it's really limitless. Like, you give this guy talent. And I think anyone that was calling him out last year really just didn't watch a game. I mean, honestly, the last couple of years, you've heard the Brady decline thing, and anyone who could have called for that really hasn't been watching a game. This guy, if you say that and you looked at what he was throwing to in New England, you could tell, it was just not, it's not him. It's not him. But he looked great. He looked absolutely fantastic. Leonard Fournette took over for an injured Ronald Jones, almost had 100 yards. The Bucs are good. We'll see what the game looks like against the Saints.
Meech, you've said before that, when a team gets hot going into the playoffs, it's dangerous, and the Bucs are definitely on a roll, much like the Ravens, who stomped the Titans, bro.
Yeah, we'll see. But when you're playing a team that's also winning going into the playoffs, we'll see how the Bucs really look. But the Baltimore, like we talked about last week, they just were a dangerous team at a dangerous time. And, I was pretty sure that they were going to win just because of that.
Yeah. And the Titans defense is trash.
The Titans defense is trash. And I know that King Henry, was a factor going into it, but I just thought the Baltimore Ravens defense doesn't care.
I'll give you that, Mitch. I had the stats saying that they wouldn't get it done, and they stepped up.
Yeah, because when you have that talent on defense, you can shift it. And so they don't have to be great against the run. But if you can lock down the pass, which they did with those two corners, you can dedicate other personnel to that run game. And it's exactly what they did. And like I said, I don't know if I would want to play this team going in. They have finally found the great balance of Lamar Jackson being just enough of a passing threat, under 200 yards again. But once again, just enough of a threat to then run all over their opponent.
Yeah, and did you see that one touchdown that he ran for? It was like 48 yards or something. It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
like he was just gone in like no time. He's like the fucking Flash, dude.
Pew! He's just gone.
Yeah, him and
see me run over to that rock. You want to see me?
Yeah, it was just ridiculous. Like I was like,
him and Murray are just so fast. Like They find that gear and they're uncatchable. And I think I heard it last week. It kind of doesn't matter if you're playing with a spy if your spy can't catch them.
Yeah, for sure. And
it's gonna be a mismatch every time.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not gonna say the King was dethroned this game, but he was definitely defrocked because he was just not relevant, dude.
He was tarred and feathered because this guy fucking rushed for under. He was kept to just 40 yards, and that is insane.
It is insane.
Yardage of his season.
Yeah, crazy.
Ravens defense put a fucking hurt on him. They felt like they were just prepared for the run every time, and like Meech said, the two corners were doing their job on Brown and Davis.
Yeah, it was a tough game to watch if you're a Tits fan. That's for sure.
The Ravens play who next week? Chiefs? Bills?
Bills, Ravens play
It's the Bills.
The Bills,
I'm pretty sure
yes.
It's the Bills.
It is the Bills, which is going to be, I think, an interesting game to watch and a lot of fun. But we'll talk about that next time. So, how about
Nickelodeon?
I'm so sad I didn't see this stuff. I saw some highlights on Twitter, and this is one game I kind of missed, and I'm not really sad because it wasn't entertaining to watch. But I did want to see the Nickelodeon coverage just to see how they would address it.
Oh,
it was dope,
hold on,
dude. It was dope.
Hold on, I forgot about something with the Titans.
What?
Can we talk about that punt?
I don't remember the punt.
Fourth and 1.
Oh, I do remember the punt.
Down of possession.
Yeah, because I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, I was like screaming at my TV. I can't believe I forgot about that because I was just like, "Dude, like, what the fuck? You literally just gave them the game."
So uncharacteristic of Vrabel too. Did you see what he said after the game about it?
No, I didn't.
He said, "I thought we could pin him inside the 10, maybe the 5, and go from there." and he said that the defense had been playing well. They had gotten some good stops. Bitch, Lamar Jackson ran for 165 on you.
Yeah. We're not watching the same game, bud. Like
and
that's
coming from a guy who hasn't been afraid to kind of go for, like, when his kicker sucked at the beginning of the year, he just started going for 2
we don't
points.
need to.
Yeah, and it's 4th and 1. It's not 4th and 4. It's not 4th and 5.
And they
it's
had
4th
finally
and 1.
They finally started getting some momentum going before that. They had a good offensive drive. They got a stop, and then they fucking punt on 4th and 1. Like, that's the play
you have one of the best
That's what
offenses in the NFL, one of the worst defenses in the NFL. That's so uncharacteristic of Vrabel, who is known as a genius as far as out coaching people most of the time, honestly.
And putting his fucking dick on the table and letting it ride.
Right.
And he just did not do that.
Right. Being smarter than everyone and also still having that I've played in games knowledge not that long ago, and I have a feel for the game. Like, it's just so uncharacteristic of what we've seen from him. Yeah. And there was questionable decision not to go for it in the Steelers game as well.
Yep, there was. I remember
so 2 coaching mishaps in both of those games.
Yeah,
I'm sure those will be addressed in the end of season meeting. But Vrabel, at the end of the day, he does have a great team put together there in Tennessee, and I do like what he's doing. But that was a costly mistake.
Yeah, you just always feel like they're a piece off, though.
Yeah, if they can shore up the defense, they're in business. You know,
they're a few pieces off, but.
Yeah. So, do I have your permission to go back to the Bears and Saints game now, Dubs? I mean, I know it's the most boring game we have to talk about, but we got to talk.
We can talk about the slime cannons.
Yeah, dude, that shit was dope. That shit was dope as fuck. Like, I was like, I'm so here for this.
Who was it that dropped an F-bomb like fucking 5 minutes in?
Oh, I think it was Patterson, Cordero Patterson.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck. Fucking. Right on Nickelodeon. I saw so much shit on Twitter about that.
I mean, whatever. The first time I said fuck, I was 5 years old. They've all heard it before.
That's true.
If you go to public school, and you know what, fuck it. If you go to private school, it's worse. But because I know all those things, kids hear this shit, and like I feel like that's one of the things we're so overprotective about, and I just feel like it's weird. I don't get it.
Yeah, I love the way that was amazing, dude. It was like social commentary, but then it like took a turn for the stoner. I just feel like it's weird. No, I mean, with the Bears Saints game, it was once again the Bears defense just trying so hard to keep them in the game.
Yeah.
And then their offense just not helping them in any way. And
that's what I said to you guys. Like, if defense is on the field 24/7, they're gonna tire. Like, they can only hold for so long.
Yeah.
The offense consistently fucks the defense. If you go 3 and out every play or every fucking drive, what are you doing?
Yeah, I feel like that was part of the Eagles' problem this year as well. Like, honestly, everyone talks shit about our defense. Our defense played, like 3/4 of the game well. But if you're on the field that much, you're gonna get gashed, and like that's what happened to the Bears. Like, they held for so long, and it's something that my buddy who was a Bears fan, a couple of years ago when they played the Eagles and had the double doink, he was saying how great they are, and I'm like, dude, you keep saying they're so great. Their defense scored points. They hired an offensive genius head coach. Like, it's a problem.
Yeah,
I had 3 things that I wanted to bring up here. First, Javon Wims had one of the worst drops I've ever seen. The Hail Mary in the end zone, he's wide open and fucking dropped it like first quarter.
That reminded me of a Madden play so much, dude. I swear to God, that happens constantly in Madden for me. And I couldn't believe he dropped it. And I feel like wide receivers have these gloves that are basically super glue. And yet I've never seen more drops.
Yeah, that's kind of fair. The second point I wanted to bring up was the Saints have like so many weapons, but I think their most undervalued weapon is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. That dude has made so many people punch him this year. Michael Thomas punched him. Anthony Miller punched him. Somebody else did at the start of the season. I remember him getting in a fight in the Rams playoff game where they had the pass interference bullshit.
Yeah, man is an all-time shit talker legend, apparently.
And it always seems like the other person gets thrown out and not him. And you're like, how many times is this guy going to get somebody else thrown out?
Yeah, he just doesn't get caught. He just doesn't get caught.
Well, and he has to go with one of those go words. They always talk about when like coaches or managers in the MLB get thrown out. Oh, he must have said a go word, right? He must just say go words to everybody. And like, I have a fucking helmet on. I don't care. Hit me.
Yeah, fucking hit me, bitch.
Want to break your fucking finger and get fined? Go ahead. Let's go.
Yeah.
And he's a safety, so he makes a hit. He's talking shit. You drop a pass or incomplete pass and he's in the area, he's talking shit. You have to deal with him all game.
Yeah. I mean, first team all pro. Like, I love that. I love when you can get into someone's head like that. And I wish that I was able to just wash it over like when I played on just a minuscule level of any sport because I wasn't good. But I could never get over shit like that. And I feel like the best can. And God, he's good at talking shit. Like, it's a skill. And I think we've seen it in all sports. Like, you always have that guy who's just great at talking shit.
Oh, yeah.
I think Kendrick Perkins used to be that for the Celtics back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
So
First team
him and
all
Big
pro.
Baby Davis.
Yeah, Glenn.
First team all pro shit talk.
Glenn?
Yeah, it is Glenn.
I know. I was saying Glenn like you say their first name. Like,
just rip and ditch.
Rip and ditch.
Rip and ditch. Hell
More
yeah.
of a didgeridoo.
I haven't watched the new season, but I heard it's hilarious.
So good.
I don't have Hulu anymore.
I watched it.
Oh, dude, you can use my Hulu if you want. Oh,
yeah, just give it out on air.
We just giving out Hulu's.
Support the listeners, Bertie. Give the people what they want.
I'm pretty sure that's illegal, so I won't do that.
They want weed, they want pizza, and they want Hulu passwords.
Hell yeah, they do.
Dubs is sending up some Durban poison in the mail, committing fucking cross-state fucking what are they called?
Meech, we're sending cookies.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah, that's
Just
baked
cookies.
goods. That's baked goods.
And Bertie's helping the needy with his Hulu password and username. Let's go, boys.
Yeah, we're a charitable podcast, man.
We'll post it on all
for the people,
socials.
baby.
We'll post it on all socials after the show. Just Bertie's fucking free Hulu.
Yeah,
for
absolutely, we will. No, we won't. So let's talk about the Browns and Steelers game, which I texted you guys in the group chat. Like, they are imploding, and that's exactly what they did, dude. Like, they imploded.
I keep saying this is the game I watch the most, and apparently I just watched more football than I thought I did, which was way less than I usually do, especially on this sacred holiday of Wild Card Weekend, or Super Wild Card Weekend this year. But yeah, it was kind of amazing how that game got off to a start. I was totally and completely wrong about this game.
Yeah. I was watching it with Selena, and as soon as I saw the botch snap, I was like, this game's over already. And they just kept running it up and running it up and running it up.
Yeah, I
didn't think that way, but it just seemed like they did that.
They came out flat. Them. You could see it. The Steelers just looked dead from the start.
Yeah, they did. It did not feel like a playoff game. Usually, these are games that happen not really with football as much as other sports where you have longer seasons and you just kind of just don't show up. And Cleveland did not take their foot off the accelerator, and thank God for that, because we've seen so many times people getting back into the games, and the Steelers tried, to their credit, but the Browns had built up enough of a lead, and still, even when they didn't capitalize on every drive, they had built up enough capital and were able to seal it.
Yeah, they had the most points in a first quarter in NFL playoff history. I don't know if you knew that.
Cleveland Browns. That's
throw
awesome.
That out there. Yeah,
Good
that's the most points ever scored in a first quarter in NFL history.
To add to the coming out flat part, the Steelers.
Ben looked flaccid on the first drive. Oh,
the third time you play a team, it's always like you feel it. You can tell there's an intensity there. Both teams can't figure each other out. They figured each other out. They can't get an inch against each other. And that just wasn't the case here, especially AFC North. There those games are usually fucking brutal.
Yeah, and we've talked about momentum before on the podcast, and you felt it in that moment, that snap, and then immediately the next score, because they scored on the next possession, and you were just like,
the way they scored, Kareem Hunt went through their whole defense. He carried like 4 people into the end zone. I was like, they're fucking dead in the water already.
Yeah. And it's funny. I was so happy because for, non-divisional fans, I get it. I said, how can you not root for both the Browns and the Bills? And Double raised his hand and said he couldn't really root for the Bills. And that's understandable. But
yeah, I've decided I'm fully on board for 7. I want to see it.
You guys have rings. You don't give a shit, right? Who cares?
Yeah, and I just want to see Tom get another one. Fuck it. Let's fucking run it up.
Oh, you're I'm sorry. I thought you were being a better person by rooting for the Bills. No, you did not.
Yeah, no,
admit
fuck
to that right
no,
now.
fuck them.
Okay.
I'm happy for him, but
You're
I can't
hashtag
root for
Tommy
them.
right now.
I am back to hashtag Tommy. My
Yeah,
team's
I mean,
out.
yeah.
Let's just fucking do it. Go get 7.
I'm
run it up.
At this point, I'm behind the Browns until they lose, man. Because
I'm Browns or Bills. Like
You weren't
both of
fucking
those
Browns
fans-
last week. You picked the Steelers.
Hold on. I picked the Steelers, and even then I wavered because I felt like they were going to do something in this game, but they were missing a starting left guard and their fucking head coach, who is the play caller. Kind of a big deal. Didn't seem to matter.
And hold on. He was picking who he thought. Hold on. He was picking who he thought was going to win, not necessarily who he wanted to win.
I wasn't rooting for it. Under no circumstance was I ever like, I feel bad for the Steelers. I hope they win some. No, absolutely not.
Me and Birdie were both on the Browns. We were super excited about it. We were hyping it up. We were trying to get you on board, and you were like, nah, steel curtain. And guess what fucking happened?
I'm usually not the stat guy or the analysis guy. I'm usually a field guy. I did not go with my
First
field
4
there.
letters of analysis. It's more your speed.
God damn it.
What does that even mean?
Anal.
Oh, I didn't get that.
God
Dyslexic too.
I mean, that too. First 4. Yeah. I get it. I'll slow.
I mean,
Bernie just goes, God damn it.
Ben Roethlisberger threw, 4 picks in the game?
500 yards,
dude,
4 touchdowns, 4 INTs.
And I can't remember who was commentating that game, but one of them made the point that it seemed like every single pass that he threw was high.
Duck. They were all ducks.
Yeah, it was just what the fuck's going on here, dude?
He played the worst 500-yard game by a quarterback ever.
And I think we've seen it. I mean, if you have no balance in offense, you can really just drop everyone and hope for it. And also, since the 11-0 has come to an end, I think we've seen these kind of games from Big Ben. We've seen him look great in one half and not so great in the other half. And that's what we saw. The first half of this game, he looked like absolute dog shit. The second half, he looked a lot better. Even though they knew he was passing. And it's just, I definitely think his time is over there. And I think if he's a team player, he needs to just say to the Steelers, thanks for the parting gifts. I'm going to go out.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, anything else you want to talk about? I had a question, but I think I'll save it for the next episode.
Nick Chubb was underappreciated. Those running backs are just so goddamn dangerous, dude.
Yes,
Nick
they
Chubb
are.
Was a fucking beast, dude. Nick Chubb is a goddamn beast.
Yeah, their defense stepped up too, though, dude. The Browns' defense was on fire. I mean, some picks were served up to them on a silver platter, but they still capitalized when they needed to, and that kind of stuff is important.
Well, and at the end of the day, the Browns executed in a way that they don't usually execute. And therefore, the factory of sadness, it seemed like waned every single quarter.
Factory of sadness.
Yeah, and you couldn't be, and that's what I'm saying. You could not be happier for the Bills or the Browns fans because 2 loyal fan bases, and they've really earned this, honestly.
Yeah, they did. And I honestly, if you look back on it, hindsight is obviously 20/20, but if you look back on it, I don't think there was any way the Browns were going to lose this game. Those guys had to be just so fucking ready to play. You know, like I just don't think there's any way they're losing that game. I really don't.
Yeah, we'll see. They do get the Chiefs next week, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for them.
Me fucking too. Anything else you want to talk about, boys?
I just wanted to get Meech's pick on national championship game, 14-14, Alabama, Ohio State right now in the second quarter. I'm going to go with Alabama.
Yeah, I'm Alabama too. I'm shocked that it's that Ohio State's seen a lot of people missing from their sidelines as well. I expect Alabama.
You want to hear something crazy?
What's
Alabama's still played 12 games this season.
I mean, yeah. I've said it before. He's the greatest coach in all of college, and I know Dabo threatened that for a couple of years, but we all saw the difference between him and Saban this year. It's just he doesn't stop, and he's happy for 7 minutes after they win the championship. Then he hits the recruiting trail, which you have to find your balance. Whatever you want to be a coach in, I feel like both of them are a pain in the ass, but I feel like the NFL is better. But you have more control in college, but you have to hit the recruiting trail literally after you win.
Yeah, for sure. And they've just, like you said, Saban and Ohio State, whether it's Urban or this new guy, they just are always in the mix with that.
Yeah, and since Saban has really accepted the fact that offense is now part of the game, this isn't a team that's just not going to score anymore.
Still can't churn out a QB prospect, though.
Although I still think that's a little garbage. I mean, A.J. McCarron, I think, was a solid prospect, kind of got screwed over by the contract process, never got a fair shake. But yeah, I mean, other than that, but they've kind of jumped to the place where LSU is, where you don't know, and some of these other programs too, but specifically LSU from last year, you didn't know if these receivers were just that good or if Burrow had an effect, just like you didn't know that going in with Tua. You've seen how hard it is to evaluate these guys now when they're just stacked. And because all of these programs have just gotten stronger, the dominant program, I mean, every year it's Alabama, Ohio State, and Clemson. I mean, every year. So, like, you've seen these strong programs just get stronger, and it would be interesting to see what would happen, if I don't know, more people took advantage of the transfer portal, something like that. But it's made evaluating the talent at these schools at the quarterback position a little bit harder because you have the best wide receivers, you have the best running backs, all that talent, the best lines, all that stuff. So can they carry a franchise like Joe Burrow had an effect on the Bengals this year before he got injured? And that's where talent evaluators have to really look at the tape.
Couldn't have said it better.
Any last words, boys?
But I have a rant.
Yeah, so as of today, Doug Peterson has been fired. Yeah, and I couldn't be more pissed because at the time when everyone was questioning it yesterday on social media, I was like, that's fine. He's already guaranteed a spot. This is why he did what he did in the last game. He was told he was being brought back. Apparently some difference in opinions. He wanted more power, and Lurie wanted Roseman to stay in power. I can't stand it. We've talked about it over and over again. Howie Roseman cannot draft to save his life. He passed up the Rookie of the Year this year in Justin Jefferson. Clearly would have helped our offense, which was a problem the whole year. I can't believe they fired a coach 3 years after winning a Super Bowl, one in 2017, and it's bad. It's not a good look. I mean, people are talking about the Texans situation like that's a bad organization to go to right now. The Eagles, I don't know if it's much better. I mean, you saw all these Eagles fans, delusional Eagles fans saying, Eric Bieniemy, come to us. Why the fuck would he want to? Why the fuck would a top coaching prospect want to go to your organization when you jettison the only coach that has won your organization a Super Bowl just 3 years ago? We're just 3 years removed from that. You're going to have trouble attracting top coaching talent, and you're still trusting Howie Roseman with drafting, which he has drafted one Pro Bowler since 2013. That's Carson Wentz. We all saw that situation. It's a joke that Howie Roseman has outlasted 4 coaches in his time there, 2 of which have won Super Bowls. Kind of crazy. But That's the only other news I wanted to talk about. I am scared the direction this franchise is heading in. Howie Roseman needs to be gone. Jeffrey Lurie needs to hire a GM and then get the fuck out of the way. He has had his hands on too much stuff lately, and you're letting Howie Roseman run a team into the ground. God, I hope John Dorsey, who's an advisor to our GM there, Howie Roseman, is going to be drafting or taking over a heavy hand in the drafting process, because Howie Roseman can't draft, and John Dorsey has stacked talent.
He's an associate?
Yeah, he's an advisor. He's an advisor to the GM.
Why?
He should be the GM. I don't know why.
He should have been fired in fucking Cleveland.
Dorsey?
Yeah.
No, he shouldn't have, but nonetheless, he has stacked talent in both KC before he went to Cleveland, and we're seeing the fruits of his labor now. He didn't make a right coaching move. To his credit, at the time, we thought he was making a lot of us didn't, but you saw the season of production that Baker had under Freddie Kitchens the year before, and I think we all could understand why that move was made. However you want to talk about him addressing a coaching staff, he has put talent on KC roster and the Browns roster for years to come. So say whatever you want about the man. I would so much rather have him as our GM than Howie Roseman.
This has been your Eagles update with Meech.
All right, well, I think that about wraps it up. An epic rant from Meech. I'll pray for you, bud. I'll pray for you. Thanks for listening to Stone Sports. We appreciate it. As always, follow us on all social media. That's Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. It's all Stone Sports Podcast. All right, say goodbye, boys.
Peace.
Peace.
Lighters.